Back here at Millett Hall, and with 4:33 to go in the first quarter, it's Miami 12 and Xavier 8. Some free throws coming out of the break for Taylor Purvis, the Xavier senior, and she will try to cut into this Miami lead.
What a 180 on the first quarter of the game against Western Kentucky for the RedHawks. I mean, it was 6-5 in the first quarter, and we're already halfway through, and it's now it's 12-9.
First free throw is hit by Purvis. Native of Houston, played 3 years at Houston for the Cougars before transferring in this season to play for Xavier. Second free throw put up, and it's off the heel. Rebound hauled out of the air by Miami's Lucretia Edwards. Quickly up the floor on the left wing, Hennessy Lou Brown, dribbling as high as the shoulder before corralling and finding Treader up top. Now this is Jada Scott on the far side. Up for Richardson, top of the key, throws it down low for Treader. She got bumped and lost control of it, and the ball will go out of bounds. Treader with the last touch. And it will go back to Xavier here, trailing by 3 with 4:18 to go in the opening quarter.
I'll tell you, Coach Box is really emphasizing playing really fast. They don't want to get too caught up in a half-court offense here.
Miami's tried to work that transition game. You can clearly see they're getting up the floor with speed when they can get out of that Xavier press.
Yeah.
Purvis driving on the baseline, kicks to the near corner. Calhoun races in from outside the paint, flings it up and gets fouled. The shot had too much mustard on it, but she'll get a chance for 2 free throws at the line. That's Miami's 5th foul as a team, so Xavier is in the bonus, but these are shooting fouls. That was a shooting foul, I should say. These are shooting foul shots coming up here for Shelby Calhoun, the senior from Louisville. First one put up and in by Calhoun. This is only her third game, I should say, of the year. She averages 18.5 minutes per game. And that's her first make from the free throw line this season. Hasn't seen a whole ton of minutes for this team.
Xavier's already going through the rotation early. I mean, they've played, 8 different people already, and we're 6 minutes in. I mean, they're definitely going to be rotating a lot of bodies in.
Second free throw is made, so it's a 2-for-2 trip to cut it to a 1-point game here with 3:55 to go in the first quarter. 12-11 Miami leads. Corey Lard will run the point for the RedHawks. JUCO transfer from Davenport, Iowa, carries to the far side. Works it into the post, looking for Scott, and she got fouled. Foul for Xavier is on Xavier Cavilia.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Native of Kobalech, Georgia, not like the Peach State, like the country in Western Asia. From the top of the key, handling it, it's Jada Scott. Handoff for Edwards. Thought about the step back. Instead, feeds Scott once again on the right elbow. Just going to turn around and fire up and hit.
They just left her completely alone, so worried about the dribble drive.
That puts Miami back out in front by 3. Jumper good from Scott. She's now got 6 points to equal Edwards' total, as that's tied for the game lead. On the near side for Xavier, this is Scarlett. Circles around just inside the arc, pushes on the far side for Lopez. Now back for Scarlett, puts up a 3, and it's in and out. Rebound by Scott for the RedHawks.
Good defensive possession there for the RedHawks, really staying true to their zone right there and not letting anybody peel off too hard.
Scott from just left of the key, directing traffic inside. On the offensive end of the floor for the RedHawks, she'll just dump it off for her sister Jada, who will work her way around and throw it up from just inside the arc. That gets the roll and drops home. Miami leading by 5. That is the largest lead of the game for the RedHawks with 2:36 to go in the first.
Yeah, that was practically a free throw for her. I mean, that was pretty open and right on the free throw line.
Xavier Cavilia to the near side for Scarlett. Forced back out. She'll have to go top of the key for Lopez. Around the horn to Calhoun in the far corner. Post entry feed looking for Xavier Cavilia, is tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Xavier, and Miami will get the ball back here. And this Glenn Box defense is going to work right now. That's the 6th turnover for Xavier in the early goings.
And it's a lot of it is, it's not just a sloppy passing or anything like that. It is them forcing the turnovers. They're a really good job from Miami defense, staying aggressive and staying physical to force the turnovers.
Corey Lard hands off for Maddie Hoon. Now to the far side, it's Lard again. Try to work it down low for Scott, but it's plucked away by Blackford for Xavier.
Lost positioning there.
Scarlett will carry it up the floor and chest it over to Purvis. Purvis pump fakes on the pass, gets it to Scarlett on the near side. Bounces with the right hand, trying to wave players inside. Scarlett comes around the screen, drives down the left lane, throws up a wild shot. It falls off the left side of the rim, and the rebound by Katie Richardson for the RedHawks.
RedHawks got lucky. That was almost definitely a shooting foul right there, but now they got it back in their hands.
Lard slows it down from up top. 90 seconds to go in the first. Handoff for Scott. Pushed over for Maddie Hoon, freshman from California. Over for Lard now. Richardson bullies her way inside, throws it up with the left hand and scores.
That is the physicality that Xavier just has no answer for right now. Just bullying them both defensively and offensively, and it shows on the scoreboard here.
Second bucket for Katie Richardson, and it's the RedHawks by 7, 18-11 with a minute and 6 seconds to go in the first. To the far side, Purvis open three, and no. Rebound on the weak side picked up by Scarlett for the Musketeers. She'll reset to the logo. Under a minute to play in the first, it's Daniela Lopez.
I'm sure Purvis was kicking herself. That was a wide open three she had there.
Purvis works her way down the left side, tried to pass it outside. It's swatted away by Jada Scott. Another turnover forced by the RedHawks. That's the 7th for Xavier. Shot and game clock separated by 16 seconds as Miami gets it across the timeline.
Really slowing it down here. They want to milk every single second off the clock is what it looks like here.
Jada Scott surveys the floor. Now she'll just take off towards the basket, circles to the right side. Hook shot falls short of the rim, and it's tapped out of bounds by her sister Jaden on the rebound. It'll go to Xavier here with 23.4 seconds left in the first. 18-11, Miami leads, and the shot clock now off. The Musketeers can hold for the final shot.
I'm really impressed, once again, with just the physicality. I mean, even when they're not making shots, they're boxing out, and they're getting quite a few rebounds doing so.
It's Purvis carrying up the floor. Hand for Harris. Now Calhoun back to the far side. It's worked into the paint, looking for Purvis. Tapped out of bounds. A nice hustle play by Scott. 12.3 seconds left in the first. It'll stay with the Musketeers.
The RedHawks just look so much higher energy right now, too. I mean, they look like they could just run them up and down the court if they wanted to right now.
Floater pass is hauled down in the far corner by Purvis. Pushed into the paint just underneath the free throw line by Harris. Dribbles it back outside with 5 to go. Now it's Purvis on the far side with 3. Tries to work her way in. Purvis passes outside. Calhoun a 3 at the buzzer, and it's no good short. And at the end of the first quarter, Miami leads it by 7. 18-11 our score. Well, that was a strong defensive showing from Glenn Box and his team in the opening quarter. That's where they want to make their money. Xavier only took 6 shots from the field and turned it over 7 times in the opening 10 minutes of play. And Glenn Box has his team up 7 points at the opening break. Back with the second quarter here from Millett Hall after this. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Luke West, Poley, Sean Wiesemann back with you here from Millett Hall. It's 18-11 after one quarter of play. Miami in front of the Xavier Musketeers as RedHawks look to go for their first win of the season here in front of the home crowd at Millett Hall. Very strong showing in the opening quarter from Miami. Shot 61% from the field and limited Xavier to just 2 for 6.
Yeah, and no points in the paint either. Just that physicality really on display right there.
Musketeers have it moving right to left. You begin this second quarter. Feed comes into the post for Harris. Bullies her way in, kicks outside for Scarlett. Three gets put up and it rattles out. Rebound pulled off the MAC logo by Katie Richardson for the RedHawks. Lard went quickly up the floor. Now she slows down, crosses her dribble back and forth before heading to the far side of the floor in the front court. Bullet pass just inside the arc straight away for Richardson. Now a chest pass for Scott. Tried to drive in, was forced back out, 10 to shoot. Scott on the near flank, overhead pass for Lard. Right elbow extended, backs it outside the arc once again. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Lard gets a pass back, puts out a deep contested three, and it's no good. Rebound by the Musketeers and Neela Blackford.
Once again, I just feel like when they don't know, when they can't execute on the fast breaker transition, it seems like they start to stall a little bit in the half-court offense.
Lopez darts to the far side, tried to throw a pass in the paint. It was batted away by Scott. She gets it back and will hand it to Scarlett, who calls a play from up top. Scarlett comes around a screen on the left side, steps back, triggers off a three, and it's no good, in and out.
What
and
a
the
physical
rebound.
Yeah,
there. Big rebound pulled away by Lard for the RedHawks, and then she commits an offensive foul as Purvis was right in her face, and Lard gave her a nice shove to the upper body. That'll be the first team foul of the second quarter, and not many calls come easier than that one.
Yeah, maybe a little too physical on that one. I was talking about, yeah, they keep saying physical. Yeah, maybe a little too physical on that one there.
So that's Lard's first. Fortunately enough for the RedHawks, 90 seconds into the second quarter. Miami leading 18-11. Xavier gets it back here. Purvis to the far side, left elbow extended. Pushes it back straight away for Harris. Now swung to the near side for Scarlett. Back for Harris down low. She got free and throws it over top the defender and in.
That's a beautiful pass right there. Nothing you can really do with beautiful passing like that.
That's Harris's first bucket for the Musketeers. Xavier with some light pressure, but now it really ramps up as Miami gets it across the timeline. Lucretia Edwards drive just inside the arc from 15 feet. She pulls up and hits the shot on the mid-range J. Miami back in front by 7. 7:53 to go second quarter. And the Musketeers will bring this back up.
They really wanted to press Lard there. They were almost double-teaming her on the press break.
Purvis heads around a screen on the far side. Down the lane with Richardson right in her face, and she's called for the travel. Took about a step too many there, and the Musketeers will cough it up back to the RedHawks here. 8th turnover for Xavier. Miami leads at 20-13 with 7:41 to go second quarter, and the RedHawks will get the ball back here.
Just 8 rebounds to 5 in favor of the RedHawks. Just much better job in that. Like I said just before, it's just the physicality of this team.
Herho nearly turned it over, but the block pass came right back to her. She finds Edwards. Far side three is in and out. Rebound to the far side. It's saved from going out of bounds nicely by Harris.
Barely.
And it's scooped up right next to the baseline by Calhoun.
Yeah.
Somehow Xavier kept hold of the basketball, and they'll go to work on the offensive end. Scarlett works the right side, down the lane, floats it up, and scores.
You know, on that previous play, it looked like that ball went out of bounds from my angle here. I'm surprised they kept that play going there.
Urho having a little trouble, but an overhead pass finds Edwards across the timeline on the right wing. Over 3 minutes gone by second quarter, 20-15. Urho has it plucked away, but she regathers and gets fouled by Purvis, who put a hip into her. And that is Purvis's first and Xavier's first of the second quarter. Miami will inbound with 20 more seconds on the shot clock here. 6:51 to go second quarter, and Miami leading Xavier by a 20-15 score.
Yeah, once again, that just seemed like a frustration foul.
Herho gets the inbound, works her way just inside the arc, bounces for Scott down the right side, puts a shoulder in the defender, puts it up and gets the positive roll over the rim. Scott puts Miami back out in front by 7. She's got 8 points here in the opening 13 minutes.
Yeah, she's 4 for 4. She's doing a great job today.
Purvis pushes it down low. Harris wide open and breaking, but she puts the shot off the front of the rim, and the rebound is picked up by Hoon for the RedHawks. Beg your pardon, that was Treader on the rebound, and now this is Hoon. Around to the near side, and now straight away Herho back for Treader. Open for three, elects not to take it. Instead, a pass across for Edwards. Drives in short of the paint, floats one up, and it's off the iron, no good. And the rebound for Xavier by Blackford.
There's just no interior presence right now for Xavier. They are just dribble and driving. Even though that's a miss, they're really, it's not super terribly contested on that.
Blackford from the left elbow extended, drives down low, throws the shoulder into the defender, knocks Treader to the ground, and puts it up and in wide open. Blackford with her first bucket, 3 rebounds to go along with it, and some physicality to match for Xavier.
Yeah, I'm surprised Blackford didn't get called for the foul there. It looked like Miami had their feet set on that.
Just inside the arc, Hoon pulled up with an open 2, and she connects it.
Long 2 there.
Foot was probably not even all the way across the line there. That was about as long a 2 as you could take,
yeah.
But Maddie Hoon, the freshman out of Carlsbad, California, hits it, and the RedHawks are back up 7 with 5:15 to go in the second. From the left elbow, this is Blackford, the grad student, pushing back outside for Calhoun. Darts across, now down the right lane. She falls down, and she traveled. It's another turnover for Xavier. They've limited those a little bit. That's only their second of the quarter as we've gotten near the halfway mark, but that's 9 on the game for the Musketeers, and Miami will get the ball back here with 5:07 to go in the second, leading by 7.
Yeah, last couple possessions, Xavier's actually been getting some good looks. I mean, they've just, unfortunately for them, they've just been shooting themselves in the foot with a little bit, with the travel, turnover, just not being consistent. And if they were consistent, this game would be a lot closer here.
Katie Richardson coming back on for Miami, along with Corey Lard. They replace Herho and Jaden Scott. And Lard will carry it up the floor for the RedHawks. Lard's been splitting time at the point through the early part of this year for Glenn Box. He's been working with some different lineups so far. Edwards finds herself open for 3 straight away, and she hits it.
What a well-designed offensive play there. That was a wide-open 3 right there at the top of the key.
Unchallenged, Lucretia Edwards into double digits with 11 points to lead all scorers in the game. 27-17 Miami with 4:35 to go in the second. Quick move to the basket by Scarlett. Tried to go up and under, but her shot did not reach the height of the rim, and it goes out of bounds cleanly. And it will go back to the RedHawks here with 4:32 to go in quarter number 2. RedHawks have opened up this lead. It's a double-digit one for the first time all game. 4:32 to go in the second. It's Miami 27 and Xavier 17. We're back to Millett Hall after this. Stay with us here listening to Miami women's basketball on RedHawk Radio. Back here in Millett Hall after the under 5 timeout, 4:32 to go in the first half, and Miami leading by 10 and with the ball, 27-17. The RedHawks in front of the Xavier Musketeers. Luke West, Poley, Sean Wiesemann with you here from Millett Hall. RedHawks have taken nearly double the amount of attempts from the floor that Xavier has, 20 for Miami, 13 for the Musketeers. RedHawks have hit 12 shots from the floor, Xavier just 5.
I mean, this first half is going about as well as it can right now for the RedHawks.
Matty Hoon on the right wing for Miami. Jutting all around, just puts up a 3, contested, and it falls short, and an over the back foul, and the rebound will be called on the Creesha Edwards of the RedHawks.
Not the best shot right there. She had a guy right. She had a girl right in front of her, but we'll see next possession. Maybe she'll get a little better shot selection there.
Purvis pushing to the far side for Harris. Omaha, Nebraska native. Couple from that state here on the Xavier roster. Passed it outside for Scarlett. We get a foul inside. That's on Matty Hoon for the RedHawks. That's her first. Third team foul for Miami. 4:01 to go, second quarter. And the RedHawks leading at 27-17. Anea Harris will inbound quickly into the corner. It goes for Purvis, holding over her head, finds Scarlett at the right elbow, works across the free throw line, now backs it out straight away. Bouncing down to the MAC logo, Blackford with her back turn, swirls around, puts it up, off the heel, no good. Rebound Richardson for the RedHawks.
Once again, the interior is just being absolutely dominated right now. There's just no interior presence whatsoever for Xavier.
Treader has it on the near wing for Miami, try to work it into the post for Richardson. She nearly lost it, gets it just before the baseline. Put up a pass to a open Edwards, whose shot fell short, batted it over to the far side, and Matty Hoon was wide open to lay it in. A wacky-looking play puts the RedHawks up 12, 29-17 with 3:16 to go in the second quarter.
You know, Luke, the old pitcher Lefty Grove used to say, "I'd rather be lucky than good."
Yeah, that was mostly the former and not the latter.
Yeah.
But regardless, the three's put up in the air and missed by Harris. It rolls off the inside of the rim. Bad luck for the Musketeers. RedHawks have had the bounces, but they've certainly outplayed Xavier here in this opening half. Hoon from straight away, and she traveled, didn't dribble at all as she moved her feet. And so this will go back to the Musketeers. 2:53 to go, second quarter. Miami leading 29-17.
That was a good 3 steps right there.
Yeah, it was another easy one for our officiating crew. Man, if Miami could string together another couple stops to end this half, this could be another ugly look on the scoreboard for the away team coming in just the second home game for the RedHawks. Blackford pushes outside for Purvis on the far wing. Double team. Purvis backs to the logo. Feeds far side for Scarlett. Works her way in. Bounce pass for Blackford just outside the paint on the far side with 9 to shoot. Blackford just kind of dribbling around. Nowhere to go. Finally slips through. Puts up a shot that falls short. And on the rebound, looks like we get a foul on the RedHawks. And believe it is on Corey Allard. And so
that's kind of a weak foul.
See if they... Yeah, it's not going to be called a shooting foul, so
yeah.
Xavier will just inbound here. Blackford from the right elbow. Pushes outside for Purvis. 20 seconds put up on the shot clock. It's now down to 10 as Purvis has pulled this back to the logo. Works her way in. Purvis lofts it off her leg. It rolls out of bounds, and the RedHawks will get the ball back. With 2:12 to go, that's another Xavier turnover. That is the 5th turnover on Taylor Purvis here in this first half, and it's 10 as a team for the Musketeers.
Yeah.
As Miami's up 12.
Purvis has had a rough game thus far. I mean, she's made 3 or 4 free throws, but she hasn't even made a shot in the field. She's got 5 turnovers to show for it.
Can tell they're trying to run through her at least.
Yeah.
Scott down low for the RedHawks. Put it off the underside of the backboard. It rolls out of bounds, and the last touch came from Miami. On the season, Purvis has started all 5 games for the Musketeers, and she's second on the team in minutes, but she's their best shooter from the floor with significant attempts. But it's not fallen for her today and has missed the chance to get up a lot of those shots because she's been turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is they definitely need to get her the ball more if they want to have any chance of succeeding late in this first half and into the second.
Scarlett tried the step back three. Instead, she feeds it to Garcia Raj, who works her way in and floats it in for two. Raj, one of two Barcelona natives on this Xavier roster. Miami's got one of those on the roster as well, Nuria Herjo from the big city in Spain. RedHawks move to the offensive end of the floor. Pass down low. It falls down on the hardwood. Players going after it. It's a jump ball. Miami's got the arrow here with 1:20 to go in quarter number 2. Didn't look like the RedHawks tried to get a timeout out there, so
I don't think they ever had full possession. I wonder if that's why Glenn Box thought he didn't have full possession, so he couldn't get the timeout off.
So the tie-up, Miami will keep it here. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 1:20 to go in the first half, rather, as a bullet pass comes inside for Richardson. Lost it, regains, flings up a shot waist high, and it's too strong over the basket. Rebound by Xavier, and a timeout called by Billy Chambers as Michaela Scarlett got the board, but she fell down in the process, and to avoid the travel, Chambers calls her first timeout, and Xavier will keep possession here. 1:11 to go, second quarter. Miami leading 29-19. Xavier's got the arrow back. They are in the bonus for the final 71 seconds. RedHawks, though, would certainly love to get a stop or two and try to hold their opponent under 20 points in the first half for the second straight game.
That'd be incredible. I mean, defensively, you can see that this team is there. I mean, offensively, it might be a little inconsistent, but they only gave up 5 points to a very strong Western Kentucky in the first quarter. I mean, it's definitely there. They just gotta, like I said, just be consistent.
So the shot clock is set down 2 seconds to 28, but Xavier will inbound from their defensive baseline here and carry it the length of the floor. 1:11 to go, and the inbound comes to Julia Garcia Rach. 5'7" Spanish freshman carries to the left side, pushes up top for Scarlett. 3 put up, it's too strong, and a foul on the rebound, and it's on Miami.
I think it's interesting that Garcia Raj is the one taking the ball up the court now. I mean, that obviously Xavier is not happy with Purvis's performance thus far and wants to try to get a little offense going before the half.
Foul is on Richardson, and Blackford will shoot some free throws here for Xavier. First 2 attempts for her of the night. And the first one banked off the back of the rim and in. Yeah, Garcia Raj only 5 minutes a game so far and has only appeared in 3 of Xavier's 5 games this season. True freshman.
Yeah, they're giving her a little run, though.
Second one put up, and it clatters out. Rebound on the far side by Richardson for the RedHawks. 29-20 with 55 seconds to play. Miami in the lead. Lard sends her defender down to the ground. That's Garcia Raj. Feeds for Treader. RedHawks can't take advantage of the 5-on-4. Now this is Scott just inside the arc on the right wing. Passes back up top for Lard. Works her way in. Hop step, and it's an offensive foul.
Yep, they're going to call it every time. Yeah.
So that's Lard's 3rd foul and 3rd turnover of the game for the RedHawks. And she's got 4 assists, but
yeah,
it's been a little struggle for her from the field so far. 30
Yeah.
seconds on the shot clock, 42 on the game clock. Xavier will have a chance to chop into this 9-point lead. Garcia Raj carrying ahead. Finds Scarlett on the right side. Tried to head down the lane, was forced back outside by Scott. Scarlett crossover, one-hand feed into the far corner for Harris. 3 gets launched, and it's way long.
Not even close.
Rebound picked up for Miami by Hennessy Lou Brown on the weak side. Shot clock is off, and she will dribble this timeout for the final shot. Lou Brown with her heels next to the half-court stripe. 7 seconds remaining. Pass is pushed over to Edwards on the far side. Now Treader in the corner with 3 seconds to go, and a pass too high into the post for Richardson. She deflects it out of bounds, and with 2.6 seconds to go, Xavier will inbound from their own defensive baseline. Glenn Box telling his players to go get up there, try and force a long shot. Inbound comes to Scarlett, and a shot from past half court falls well short. And that is how the opening half of play ends here from Millett Hall. Well, it was another good defensive effort for Miami in the first half in their 2nd straight game here at home after over a week's rest. Glenn Box and the team have limited Xavier to just 20 points, and they lead it by 9 at the break. And Sean, everything all fine and good right now for this
Yeah.
RedHawks team. They're shooting over 50% from the field. One area of concern, they haven't gotten to the free throw line, but another area of concern, disregarding this game entirely, is that we've seen in the past, first half performances have not necessarily led to wins for this Miami team.
No, I mean, as evidenced by that Western Kentucky game, you can't let Xavier get out to a strong start. You need to make sure to keep that momentum that you have in the first half. I mean, you're up double digits. Keep that up. Western Kentucky was a good team, obviously, so it would have been a really difficult assignment to stay with them as much as they were previously all 4 quarters. But this is a Xavier team that was picked last in the conference. This should be a win, and so far they're well on their way to doing so.
Miami leading 29-20 after one half of play. Sean and I are back for the second half following our halftime break. And we will step aside for that and be back with you in just about 15 minutes' time. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on RedHawk Radio. RedHawks leading the Musketeers of Xavier 29-20 at halftime here from Oxford. Back here for the second half from Millett Hall. Luke West, Poley, and Sean Wiesemann with you here courtside from Millett Hall. First of back-to-back nights here on RedHawk Radio. We'll be bringing you Miami action on the hardwood. Miami women leading Xavier at the break, 29-20 with 20 minutes to go. And just a reminder, coming up tomorrow, today's our big kickoff of the big week of RedHawk Radio stuff. Tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., 6:30 pregame, we will have the Miami men taking on Spalding, D3 school from Louisville, Kentucky, the Golden Eagles. Don't count them out, man. They lost a single-digit game in the first college basketball game of the year to a D1 school, but it is a tune-up game for Travis Steele and the crew tomorrow, coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll have that game here on RedHawk Radio.
Maybe tune-up day game needs to be in air quotes there because
we'll see.
You never know.
RedHawks handled their NAIA opponents last year. The Division III is technically a lower level than that. You'd hope that they could take care of business tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. It is a Miami team that, with the outlier coming this past Saturday against St. Bonaventure, played pretty well at home last weekend at the Miami Classic with wins over Eastern Illinois and Coppin State, both pretty handedly in each of those two games. We'll also have, as a reminder, coming up, the MAC Championship coming up this Saturday from Ford Field in Detroit. It's a noon kickoff on Saturday afternoon as Miami takes on the 23rd ranked Toledo Rockets, champions of the MAC West. Miami looking to win their second conference title over a 4-year span. And we will have coverage of that one from way up north at Ford Field. 11:30 pregame, 12 Eastern kickoff here on RedHawk Radio. Xavier's got the arrow. They're going to start off with possession here in half number 2. And for Billy Chambers' team, going to want to take care of the basketball a little better than they did in the first with 10 turnovers and also just find some better looks right now. 2 for 9 from 3, 6 for 19 from the field. And right away, they'll find Scarlett down low, and she'll put it in for 2.
You could tell they've practiced that play quite a bit.
Scarlett just got lost down low. She never left the floor in the first half, but that's only her second bucket, now up to 4 points. 29-22 our score. RedHawks get it quickly up the floor. Hoon over for Treader, mid-range J.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful passing all around from every single RedHawk on the court there to break the press and to get that bucket there.
So the lead back up to 9, just over 30 seconds into our second half. Taylor Purvis running the point. We saw her split time with Julia Garcia-Roge in that first half. Near side, a 3 put up by Scarlett, and she gets it.
It's a nice shot. It was a little contested there, too.
So Scarlett coming alive with 5 early points on 2 possessions, and now the RedHawks struggling to get it over the timeline, but they finally do. Off a pass from Edwards to Hoon, and now Edwards has it straight away, trying to feed Hoon inside. It got batted around, and it's picked up in the loose court by Blackford for Xavier. Purvis carrying it up top, and she'll switch to the left-hand dribble. Head coach Billy Chambers signaling for her to make her way in front of the bench. She complies, and now bounces left elbow for Blackford. Now this is Purvis, slashing to the near side, finds her teammate in Scarlett, and another 3 put up and hit.
Yep.
As Scarlett up to double digits, and the lead down to 3. Timeout Glenn Box with 8:30 to go in this third quarter.
Yeah, now the shots are suddenly falling all of a sudden. Now it's only a 3-point game here.
11-2 run for Xavier over the last 4 minutes and change, dating back to that first half. And with 8:30 to go here in this third quarter, Glenn Box calling the timeout as he's seen a 9-point halftime lead shrink down to 3.
Very quickly, too.
Scarlett up to 10 points after she went into the halftime break with 2. 8 early points on the first 3 possessions for her. Michaela Scarlett, the senior guard out of the Bronx in New York City.
And that steal there earlier there was by Purvis, who is actually making some contributions now after a really rough first half for her.
Purvis, Blackford, and Scarlett with a steal each. Meanwhile, we've talked about Xavier's turnover struggles on their side. Miami up to 10 turnovers now. They've given the ball away a couple of times here early on in this second half.
Yeah, Miami just seems to keep attacking the paint. Those first couple possessions, they seem really intent upon spreading out the floor and trying to run some sort of either ISO or trying to run just trying to throw up a 3, but That's not the way this team is built, and that's not the matchup you're going to a favorable matchup you're going to get against these Musketeers, which don't have a consistent inside presence.
So it did not take very long for the Xavier team to cash in, just 90 seconds in.
No.
This gives us time to talk about Miami a little bit. We mentioned the lack of home games on the schedule for the RedHawks, as they've only got one more this calendar year. They're going to host the Dayton Flyers, and Ivy Wolf, former RedHawks star, transferred over to play for Dayton this offseason. Miami's got two coming up on the road against Michigan State and Eastern Kentucky on December 3rd and 6th, coming up this Sunday and then the following Wednesday, before a 3-game road stretch to end non-conference play against Michigan, Oakland, and Austin Peay. Talked a little bit with Clint Box during the preseason press conference. He did not make this schedule very easy on his team to begin his tenure. A lot of stuff on the road, a lot of Power Fives, a lot of very good mid-majors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way to get your team acclimated to the MAC schedule, is throw a bunch of road mid-major and Power 5 teams right at your team.
And talked about with the MAC is, by nature, it's just a one-bid league. That's what it is. And so, you know, you never want to say that you don't want to win your non-conference games, or your record coming out of non-conference does not really matter unless you're going undefeated in this conference. And so it's really just a matter of being prepared when conference play comes around. And I think you'll be prepared and then some with a schedule like that. Not going to see anything in conference play that probably won't have already seen at some point throughout the beginning of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the MAC's a strong conference for basketball, but yeah, typically one bid league there.
So the RedHawks have it coming out of the timeout, trying to break up this 11-2 scoring run for Xavier. RedHawks still leading by 3, 31-28 with 8:13 to go in the second half rather. Scott driving down, tried to throw it across to the near elbow, and it got intercepted by Xavier Cavilia, and it's tipped out of bounds as Xavier tried to run the floor, pushed ahead for Scarlett. Edwards bats it away with 8:04 to go in the third quarter. Miami leading by 3.
Yeah, they were really trying to double team Scott on that last play. They know that they have a weakness in the inside, and they really want to give themselves some help there.
Scarlett works her way in, loses the shoe just inside the arc. She'll pass it back outside for Woods, slips the shoe back on. It's Lopez on the near wing with 10 to shoot. Bounces just outside the paint for Blackford. No room inside for Richardson, but cutting right through Woods is found, and she floats it through to score.
Man.
Lead is down to 1 for the RedHawks, 31-30 with 7:33 to go in the third quarter, and just some palms to the sky and the Miami bench wondering what happened on that last defensive possession. Jorho controlling up top, tried to dribble between the legs. It's poked away by Purvis. Jorho gets it back just short of half court, drives down the left lane, all the way to the rack and lays it in.
Beautiful drive right there.
Nuria Jorho, the freshman guard from Spain, puts the RedHawks back up by 3 with 7:09 to go in the third. And Miami with a little bit more life than they had to begin this second half now. Some momentum potentially after that nice individual effort.
That's a fun last name to say, Luke. Jorho. I like that.
Jurjo.
I know. I like that spelling, too.
Down the center of the paint, Blackford kicks outside. 3 put up. It gets swatted away as Woods was trying to go for the triple. Rebound was all over the floor before Jorho picked it up. Now this is Hoon running the floor down the right side. Hoon throws up a wild shot, and that's nowhere close off the backboard. Rebound picked up by Blackford for Xavier.
Yeah, if you might as well not take a shot at all there if you're going to get a wild shot like that.
3.5 minutes gone by, second half. Blackford tried to drive down the left lane, and she traveled. Xavier has really struggled with that so far today. A lot of the turnovers have come off of travels for the Musketeers.
Yeah.
It's their 11th turnover first of the second half, so they've done a decent job limiting that to begin this second frame of play. And with 6:26 to go in the third, Miami will get the ball back here up 3. RedHawks have got the arrow. Both teams with 3 timeouts. Not a foul yet for either team.
Yeah,
in
pretty
this
clean.
Third quarter.
Pretty clean basketball thus far, and it has been for the most part. Not a whole lot of foul shots taken from either team, really.
RedHawks have not been to the line yet. Xavier is 6 for 8, and some sloppy play in the backcourt. Scarlett intercepts the pass, and she'll be untouched to the rack, and she'll lay it in.
It's a 1-point game now. I mean, that lead is disintegrated. It was up to 12 at one point. They really gotta get some offensive rhythm here.
RedHawks nearly turned it over, getting it across the timeline, leading 33-32 with 6 minutes to play in the third. Jorho controlling from up top. Dribbling hip high with the left hand. Herho juts inside, now works back out, finds Richardson near wing with 7 to shoot. Post entry feed for Scott, makes her way back outside. Far bullet pass, nearly hit her coach in the head. It was saved by Edwards, but her momentum took her out of bounds, and the RedHawks will cough it up here with 5:46 to go in the third, leading by 1.
Glenn Box just had a look of almost despair as he was watching his team travel back down the court on the inbounds. He did not like that pass.
Surprised Coach Box moved.
Yeah.
Working across to the near side. Scarlett open for 3, and she cashes. Glenn Box calls timeout, and he is irate. He has made his way all the way out to the center logo.
I was reading his lips. He said, "Why would you do that?"
And so that is not a pretty sight for Miami as they've gone down in this game 35-33, and very similarly to that Western Kentucky game, Xavier has now eclipsed their point totals from each of the first 2 quarters, and we've still got over half of this third to play. Xavier with 15 points since the halftime break, and they have taken their first lead of the game at 35-33 with 5:31 to go in the third quarter. Second timeout called by Glenn Box, and it'll likely be a heated huddle for this Miami team.
I can only imagine the conversation right now. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I thought, I didn't see the timeout signal. I figured it was coming, but I saw Coach Box. All I saw from him was him storm out to the center logo. And
as did I.
He went right after Jada Scott, who missed an assignment, led to that open 3.
I wonder if the officials were doing him a favor there and saying, hey.
One of the officials, it looked like almost was holding him back a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's shown no love lost between him and the officials. Nothing has been directed at them. He was just angry at his team there, but
it was just really sloppy the last few possessions.
I can understand why. They've
been
very,
and to capitalize with a pass over top of his head, I can understand why he would be as irate as he was, coming, storming onto the court, making a beeline for Jaden Scott.
It's an 18-4 run for Xavier over the last 7:53. The good news for the RedHawks is because they had that 9-point halftime lead, you have played not your best basketball, to put it mildly, over the first 4.5 of this third quarter, but you're only down 2 and you got the ball. So you could tie the game or take the lead back right here, and I think that's what Glenn Box is trying to reinstill into his team. The defensive effort was so good in that first half.
Yeah, just trying to rally the troops here, just get some defensive effort, because they're really lacking it right now.
15 points now for Scarlett, 13 of them coming in the second half, and it's only been 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Scarlett has lit it up over these last few minutes.
Yeah, she's definitely been the hot hand here. Nobody else for Xavier with more than 6 points, and she's got 15. I can tell you who Glenn Box is going to start keying in on when they come back out here for the second half of the third quarter here.
She's the team's leading scorer, led them in scoring last year with 10.9 points per game. She's played all 3 of her years here at Xavier, which can be a rare sight, especially with a new coach coming in partway through the career, but she stuck it out. Coming out of the timeout, they'll need to go put the mop in front of the Xavier bench, as there's a spot over there needing tending to. They get it all taken care of, and Miami will try to get this up the floor. Xavier showing press, and
yeah, they've stuck through this press a lot, and for a team that presses, they have not really fouled a whole lot doing so. And
the RedHawks throw it away right to Scarlett. She tries to bounce it to the far side. It's into the corner for Lopez. She'll work her way up to the flank, and a 3 falls short off the netting with no rim, but a foul called against the RedHawks. And now Glenn Box looks a little bit frustrated, as Xavier will keep possession of this following the shot that airballed, and it'll be on Katie Richardson, who gets her second.
And I don't blame Coach Box at all for being a little disappointed with that call. Not a little nitpicky of a call, if you ask me.
So from the baseline, the inbound comes out to Scarlett beyond the arc on the left wing. Scarlett goes into the corner for Purvis, works her way to the flank, floats it up left elbow for Blackford with her back turn, faces the basket, now pushes far side for Purvis. Purvis threads the needle between 2 defenders, and she gets fouled on the floor. Nuria Herho gets the foul for the RedHawks. That's her third, so she, along with Corey Lard, each have 3 fouls. And right now, no move from Glenn Box to sub either of them out, as it'll be put back in. Now Glenn Box is going to get some subs up to the table as Xavier gets going on this offensive possession. 4:56 to go, third quarter, 35-33 Musketeers, and an offensive foul is called.
Nice arm bar there.
Looks like Blackford's going to get it. It will indeed be Blackford who gets her second, and just kind of laying into the defender like you mentioned, Sean, inside. 4:55 to go in the third. Miami's going to get the ball back. Hennessy Lou Brown coming in for Nuria Herho. Lou Brown got some decent playing time against Western Kentucky. Hasn't seen as many minutes here today, only 1 minute in that first half. Miami into the front court. Richardson straight away over for Lou Brown, near side of the front court now. She'll dribble to the far wing. Short pass for Edwards, cuts across just inside the arc, pulls up with the J, and it's off the front of the rim. Short rebound by Blackford for the Musketeers.
Yeah, that's a good shot, too. Just an unfortunate miss, but that's the kind of stuff they need to continue is if they're going to give you that mid-range jumper, you got to take it every time.
Blackford hands off. Scarlett throws up a 3, and it's off the mark. Rebound is on the floor. Purvis got it initially, regains it, puts up a shot, but it's over the top of the basket. And a rebound by Corey Lard for the RedHawks. And Lard commits the offensive foul on Purvis, and she can't believe it.
They're going to call it. It's not a great call, but they're going to call it every time when you initiate contact with the defender like that.
So Lard's going to have to come off. She'll be replaced by Maddie Hoon, and now the RedHawks in some pretty serious foul trouble here as Lard just picked up her fourth. 4:10 to go in the third quarter. Xavier getting the ball back up too, 35-33.
Yeah, I don't anticipate seeing Lard the rest of the quarter here.
Purvis from straight away. 3 points for her so far. Looking for an option. Threads it to Blackford inside. Fakes the shot. Now goes up, and she scores over the defender in Richardson. 4-point lead for the Musketeers. First time they've been up by 2 possessions in the game. And now pressing a little bit. Miami needs to get this across the timeline, and they do. In just the nick of time, as now it's Lou Brown over on the far side. Carrying it up top. Lou Brown dribbling with the right hand and now the left. Slings it over for Edwards. Edwards bounces into the low block for Richardson. Cuts it across, throws it up, and gets fouled as she missed over the basket, but we'll get 2 free throws. Foul is on Blackford, who picks up her third. She leads in the fouling category for the Musketeers, who are not in any sort of foul trouble at all. They've only got 5 fouls as a team through this point in the game. That includes the first half. Blackford accounting for 3 of those 5. Richardson's first free throw on the way, and it's off target off the back of the rim.
Yeah, last time it's been over, 2.5 minutes since the RedHawks have had any points, and they're still only down 4.
Second free throw is knocked in by Richardson. Those were the first free throw attempts, by the way, of the night for Miami.
That feels a little bit of a disparity there.
Richardson cuts it to a 3-point game. 3:22 to go, third quarter.
Sloppy pass there.
Lopez over to the far side, finds Woods, and we get a foul. It's on the RedHawks away from the ball as
they are not helping
Scarlett
themselves.
Went crashing down low. And yeah, the physicality, it was working out for the RedHawks in that first half, but it feels like they've crossed the line a little bit here in this second half. They're starting to really rack up these fouls.
Yeah, this is it's now you're really crossing the line from physicality into just stupidity, quite frankly.
Purvis up top. Slings for Lopez now in the corner. This is Scarlett. Just outside the paint, Blackford with 4 to shoot. Worms around, puts up the shot, and gets fouled by Richardson. The shot falls short. Richardson will get her third foul. She's now the third RedHawk with 3 or more fouls with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Xavier into the bonus, and 2 free throws on the shooting foul coming up for Leah Blackford.
Yeah, I know Miami runs a nine-woman rotation, but I mean they're going to have to start digging into their bench a little bit if this foul really start to dig in, and maybe get people who usually wouldn't get minutes are going to have to get some more minutes here.
Blackford's first free throw in the air, and it rolls in to extend the Xavier lead to 4. 38-34 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Miami has scored just 5 points since the halftime break, and the RedHawks won for their last 6 from deep. Blackford twirls the ball with the right-handed shot, and she spins it in to make the second free throw. 5-point lead is the largest of the game for the Musketeers. Blackford comes out. She's replaced by Shelby Calhoun for Xavier. And the RedHawks will get it going again, down 5. Lou Brown on the left wing, overhead pass to the far side, finds Hoon. Now Richardson up top, pushes it ahead for Scott, spins down low in the paint, pivots, gets underneath, and scores at the left hand.
A beautiful move right there.
Jaden Scott has been held off the scoreboard for a little while, as have really all the RedHawks as well, but she's up to 10 points now in the game, and the lead cut back down to 3, 39-36. Xavier leading with 2:30 to go. Calhoun heavily guarded, and she just gets it pulled away cleanly by Scott inside.
There's that physicality we were seeing, especially in the first half there. They got to keep that up and continue to make Xavier's life miserable.
Edwards trying to find Maddie Hoon up top, and it was a kickball whistled on the Musketeers, so the RedHawks will keep it here. 2:18 to go, third quarter. 22 on the shot clock with the RedHawks down 3. Miami breaking that long dry spell on the scoring end. Still shooting 53% on the game to Xavier's 43%, but the Musketeers, after taking far less shots than Miami in the first half, have now evened it. 30 shots attempted for each team.
Those free throws are really hurting them.
Lou Brown trying to work her way inside. Now she'll sling it over for Richardson on the far flank. Back up for Lou Brown with 6 to shoot. Crosses over on her dribble, drives down the right lane, feeds Scott just outside the paint, puts up a shot at the buzzer. It's no good short. Richardson, the offensive board, puts up a second one. That's off the bottom of the backboard, but she gets her own rebound. And the RedHawks will bring it back out and run the half-court offense here. Miami dilly-dallying a little bit with it, so now the shot clock's back down to 7 as it only reset to 20, and that second shot didn't hit rim. Lou Brown might not have any ideas. Richardson has it with 2 up top, and the shot clock's just going to expire here without a shot.
Goodness gracious, just a lack of awareness from seemingly everybody for the RedHawks. Just no idea that there was a shot clock that was ticking and ticking and ticking.
I think the general thought there was that Richardson's second shot after the offensive rebound would reset the shot clock, just because it was a shot, but it didn't hit the rim. It hit off the bottom of the backboard, and no one was really aware on the floor for Miami that it was running down. The RedHawks were not able to get a shot away.
Yeah.
So Xavier leads it by 3. Under 90 seconds to go in the third quarter, 39-36. It's Blackford from the left elbow. Now works down the right lane, spinning around, throws it up over Lou Brown. It's off the inside of the rim and out. Offensive rebound by the Musketeers. It's Purvis who collects it, and she's got it now outside.
Dang, that's a rebound they need to have right there. You cannot let them get second chance opportunities here in a close game like this.
Purvis steps back, finds Lopez, and she traveled on the stutter step inside. The RedHawks fortunate to get the ball back here with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the third. Miami out rebounding Xavier 19-17. Both teams have done decently well on the offensive glass, though. Hoon gets it across the timeline on the pass on the left wing. Over for Treader, inside for Richardson. She gets the roll and the foul.
We got a fan over here doing the too small celebration. There you go.
So Katie Richardson, a free throw away from tying this game at 39 with 1 minute and 1 seconds to go in the third. And the RedHawks really needed that. That's probably the first invigorating bucket they've really had since the first possession of this second half. Richardson's free throw in the air, and it clatters out, nearly an offensive rebound by Treader, but instead it's hauled away by Woods for the Musketeers.
That still felt like a bit of a momentum shift here for the RedHawks.
It's Purvis controlling from up top. Shot and game clock separated by an even 30 seconds here. Purvis, high pass to the right elbow for Blackford. Now a shot comes up from Woods from the right wing. That fell about 10 feet short of the basket.
Yeah, I think that was
an offensive rebound and a foul called on the RedHawks.
I feel like you said that a lot in the second half. Foul on the RedHawks here. Goodness gracious. Yeah, they're really going to have to start getting some people who don't normally get minutes, a lot more minutes than they're probably comfortable with right now.
Maddie Hoon gets the foul. That's her second. And with Xavier in the bonus, they'll shoot here.
I was going to say Glenn Box is probably tearing his hair out, but he rocks the bald look, so I don't think that'd be appropriate.
Scarlett misses the first free throw. He wears a lot of hats, but he's not wearing a hat today.
No, I know. I usually see him around campus on a hat, so.
Scarlett's second free throw put up, and it's good to extend the Xavier lead to 2 here with 40.4 seconds to go. So Musketeers will likely get the final shot here. RedHawks, meanwhile, carry it up the floor. Hoon stops short of half court on the left wing and fires it ahead for Treader across the timeline. Edwards hands off for Lou Brown. Now Treader on the left wing with 15 to shoot.
Box is
Edwards.
Box is really trying to get these guys, these girls, to go downhill here.
Scott Mack logo turnaround jumper. Yes, sir. Jaden Scott with an excellent finish from mid-range. 10 seconds to go with the game tied now in the third quarter. It's Purvis over for Woods. Puts up a three at the buzzer. It's off the line on the left side. Picked up by Miami. And the third quarter comes to an end. Well, it wasn't ideal for Miami throughout. They were outscored 20-11 in the third quarter, but a nice run put together by the RedHawks team over the final 3 minutes. They outscore Xavier 6-1, and the game is even, level at 40. Here going into quarter number 4. The first win of the season is on the line for Miami and Xavier, all knotted up, headed into the final frame. We'll be back for it on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. $30 down, 10 to go here in regulation, and we have not decided a thing between Miami and Xavier. The RedHawks are going to get it to begin the quarter, and we're tied up at 40 between the Musketeers and the RedHawks. Winner gets their first victory under a first-year head coach. Miami trying to defend their home floor. Xavier trying to beat the RedHawks for the second straight season. Treader has it coming out of the break. Now it's Lou Brown carrying it in from straight away. RedHawks are in serious foul trouble. It's a different look for Miami. Treader on the near wing puts up a contested three, and it's off target.
Just
short
barely.
of the weak side rebound by Blackford. Purvis carrying across the timeline on the left wing for the Musketeers. Comes off a screen towards the middle. She'll feed Woods, who's been more active throughout the back half of that third quarter. Woods has it again. She'll drive baseline, floated up from just outside the paint. It's way long. Rebounded by Edwards for the RedHawks. Lou Brown carries it across the M. Bullet pass for Treader just outside the paint. Elbow jumper is good.
Those are the exact mid-range jump shots I was talking about before, Luke. Those are the kinds you're going to need to hit if you want to win this game.
RedHawks back in front, 42-40. Xavier took the lead about the midway mark of that third quarter. It was their first lead of the game. Miami back in front. Wide open, though. Scarlett on the near wing. Three in the air. No good. Offensive board. Purvis put back. Doesn't go. Second effort, and she gets fouled.
Man.
Xavier has really ratcheted up the intensity on the offensive glass in this third and now beginning of the fourth quarter. Purvis up to 4 rebounds. Blackford's got 8. Scarlett's got 5. And it's some free throws coming up here for Taylor Purvis following the shooting foul. 42-40 the score with Miami in the lead. And the first free throw put up by Purvis, and she missed it. That dropped about as far in as it could go without actually going in. Billy Chambers had grouped up the rest of her 4 players on the floor, and they were all having a chat during that free throw. Now they're back out in their normal spots. Second free throw waiting here from Purvis. It's on the way, and it's long, and the rebound tapped in the air and pulled down by Amber Treader for the RedHawks.
Oh, that'll drive any coach crazy. Is you gotta hit your free throws here, and when you're taking, you know, twice as many shots free throw wise, you gotta hit them.
Hoon throws it off the foot of Garcia Raj for Xavier, and so it'll stay with the RedHawks off the kickball. Xavier 9 for 14 from the stripe, 64%, about par for the course on the season. They've shot around 60 to 65% this season in pretty much all their games. Scott pushes it out wide. Long 2 is put up off a couple of bounces by Hoon. It's no good. Offensive rebound by Richardson, though, and her putback, she got fouled. Couldn't hit the shot, but she will go to the free throw line, and now Miami's starting to get to the stripe a little bit more, specifically Katie Richardson. She's got all 3 attempts for the RedHawks, and she'll get 4 and 5 here coming up.
I've been really impressed with her today, actually. She has been the lifeblood of that interior presence for them. She has consistently been punishing them down low, has been getting the foul shots for them, even though she hasn't made all of them. Coming right back off the bench, maybe a little cold, and just coming back and right away getting a shot up. That's great. I like that.
Richardson hits the first free throw. One of a few returners for this Miami team under the new head coach, junior out of Zionsville, Indiana. Second free throw on the way, and it rolls from right to left off the rim, no good. 3-point game, Miami in front, rebound by Xavier with 8:20 to go.
Xavier really wanted to push that up the court quick, hoping to get a cheap bucket there.
Lopez swings over for Scarlett, thought about the 3, instead gets back to Lopez straight away. Lopez into the paint for Blackford, spins down low, and she traveled. Another one forced by this Miami defense. Xavier having a lot of trouble on the dribble all game long, and they will turn it over for the 15th time.
Yeah, good defense by Richardson there. Just forcing her man to just completely lose track of how many steps she'd taken.
Lou Brown hands off for Edwards. Now this is Hoon up top. Back for Lou Brown. Tried to circle into the paint, stopped her feet, steps it back, works down low once again, spins around, and this time she traveled. And it'll go back to the Musketeers here as
she dribbled just about everywhere on the court there, didn't she?
Wormed all the way around.
Yep.
She was playing snake in the front court, but couldn't get a shot away.
Yep.
Across the timeline, it's carried up by Purvis for the Musketeers. Now this is Lopez, corner of the logo. Back over the far wing for Purvis. Drives in, down the right side of the paint, throws up a shot, and she gets fouled. Man. Down low. The foul will be on Maddie Hoon for the RedHawks. So that's her 3rd. And just more foul trouble for Glenn Box to navigate. He's going to bring out Corey Lara. This is a risk here for Glenn Box. So she's got 4 fouls, but still 7.5 minutes to play. Taylor Purvis at the line to shoot some free throws. It's been a frustrating day for her at the field. She's 0 for 3. 3 for 6, though, from the stripe. 4 assists and 4 rebounds for the senior transfer from Houston. First free throw put up, and it drops perfect through the cup, and it's back down to a 2-point game. 43-41 is the Miami lead.
I mean, if I'm Xavier, I still got to at least be somewhat hopeful. Purvis hasn't had her best game, but despite that, they are well within the reach of this game.
Purvis' second free throw drops in, and it's a 1-point ball game here with 7:33 to go. 43-42, Miami in front. Musketeers pressing. It's a combo effort from Edwards and Lard to get it across the timeline. They do. Floated pass ahead is hauled down in the corner by Hoon. Now Treader whips it inside for Richardson, circling around, and she drew the foul. She was being guarded by Blackford, and so she gets her 4th.
That's big.
And that is big for the RedHawks as they've gone after her a little bit. Once again, Xavier with just 8 total fouls to this point in the game, but 4 of them have come from Blackford. 2 by Scarlett, 1 by Purvis.
Richardson's
Xavier Cavilla.
Yeah, Richardson's done a really good job goading fouls out of Blackford all day, seemingly.
It's not a shooting foul, so it's an inbound for the RedHawks. Edwards bounces it into the post for Scott, puts a shoulder into Calhoun, turns it around and throws it in off the glass.
Once again, that is physicality that Xavier, for the most part, just has not been able to match on that layup there.
Man, Scott inside the paint has been excellent
Lethal.
tonight. She's up to 12 points. Floater now falls way short from Scarlett, but an offensive board. It's kicked back outside. Three put up by Lopez off the heel, and a rebound on the far side.
Barely.
It is out of bounds off Miami.
Yeah, just barely. Good effort. Just couldn't quite grab it there.
That rebound came way out off the heel, got deflected, came all the way out near half court. And just an unfortunate bounce there for the RedHawks. Second chance at life here on this possession for the Musketeers. Purvis around the screen on the left side, left elbow extended, shuffles the feed, a bit of a pass out of the wheelhouse for Scarlett. She still corrals it, step back three, put up, and she connects. My goodness, Michaela Scarlett, she was blanketed and hits the three to tie the game up at 45. Playmakers making plays for the Musketeers. Meanwhile, ahead, this is Edwards for the RedHawks. Miami wanted to attack, but Edwards couldn't do so. It's spun around to the near side for Hoon. Now Lard up top, back over for Edwards on the far wing. Bounced into the post for Richardson.
Getting
9 to
double
shoot.
teamed.
Back out for Edwards. Three put up, and it rattles home.
What a clutch three right there. The majority of the points for Miami today have come in the paint, so to get that three right there is really clutch.
Lucretia Edwards up to 14 points. That ties her for the team lead. And the RedHawks in front 48-45. Calhoun fakes the tray. Now will make her way down the left lane. Feeds back out for Purvis. Thought about the straightaway three. Pulls back down. Kicks for Calhoun after driving inside. Calhoun gets back up to the logo. Heels on the end with 5 left to shoot. Guarded by Lard. She circles to the far side. Now to the near. Down the lane. She throws up a shot at the buzzer. It doesn't catch rim. And the rebound picked up by Jaden Scott for the RedHawks. Scott carrying ahead. Stutters the feet, double teamed. It's pulled away by Garcia Raj.
Yeah.
Now she runs the floor down the right
That's a
side,
travel.
and she traveled, working her way down. Raj was not guarded. Richardson was back there for Miami, but wasn't really in Raj's face. Just kind of did that on her own on a 2-on-1. She was looking to pass that, and in picking up her dribble, I think she was
so excited to get that layup, I think, or to get that pass off that she just took an extra step.
So the RedHawks lead by 3, 48-45, with 5:09 to go in quarter number 4. Carried to the far wing by Lard, over for Edwards. She lost it on the drive, but a lucky bounce right into the breadbasket of Richardson. Kick back out for Lard on the right wing. 5 left to shoot. Bounce down low. Richardson trying to spin into the paint, and it's an offensive foul as she bowled over Calhoun.
That's a big one, too.
And that was a nice draw down low by Shelby Calhoun, the Xavier senior. And that will give it back to the Musketeers here. 3rd foul as a team, and 4th on Katie Richardson. We'll really have to track how these fouls shape up for the RedHawks in the final 5 minutes. And
absolutely,
that will have to come following this immediate timeout. We got a good one here from Oxford. RedHawks in the lead by 3, 48-45 the score, with Miami leading the Xavier Musketeers. Back to Millett Hall after this. You're listening to Miami Women's Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Sean Wiesemann, Luke West Poley back with you here from Millett Hall. It's 4:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. Miami leading Xavier 48-45. Shelby Calhoun for the Musketeers drawing the offensive foul just prior to the break. Katie Richeson's got 4 fouls, as does Lard for the RedHawks. Corey Lard with 4 and 2 players with 3, Herho and Hoon for Miami. Blackford up to 4 fouls for Xavier, but everybody else in the clear for the Musketeers headed into the final 5 minutes. Miami by 3, Xavier on the offensive end. Scarlett has come alive with 17 second half points, 19 total for the game. Calls for a screen, whips around it, heads just inside the arc, feeds out for Calhoun. Thought about the 3, pulls it back down. Instead, she'll put it up for Purvis straight away. Purvis couldn't pull the trigger, guarded closely by Lard. 7 to shoot. Purvis makes her way to the left elbow. Now feeds out for Scarlett, works her way down with 3 to shoot, gets all the way to the cup, but she lays it short, and the rebound is picked up by Katie Richeson for the RedHawks.
Yeah, Richeson went straight up on that. I could tell that there was a little part of her that really wanted to maybe go for a block on that, but no, she resisted and did not pick up the foul, thankfully.
Both players with 4 fouls are currently on the floor for Miami. Richeson has it in her hands right now, spinning all over the place. First attempt falls short, second one, and it's a jump ball. She got tied up. Possession arrow in favor of the Musketeers, so they'll get the ball back here with 4:02 to go in regulation, trailing by 3. Richeson's been good on the offensive end of the floor. She's got 8 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, she's a bucket away from a double-double right there.
Blackford coming back on for Xavier, as is Julia Garcia-Raj. It's Purvis that's running the point, carrying it up the floor with the left-hand dribble. Bounces just inside the arc, left wing for Blackford, slashes across to the MAC logo, kicks it back outside for Purvis. Into the corner, Garcia-Raj open for 3, puts it up, and it's short. Weak side rebound picked up by Blackford, and she traveled on the putback. There was a whistle as she put that back up. The shot dropped in, but luckily for the RedHawks, it was not an and one. That could have turned the game around for Xavier. But Miami will instead draw another travel for the Musketeers. They've turned it over now 17 times. And now Miami will turn it over back to Xavier. So Purvis takes it over for the Musketeers, and they trail by 3. Still a one-possession game here. This game has been within the Musketeers' grasp the whole way. They even led for a little bit in the third. Push down low. Blackford finds herself wide open, and she traveled again.
How many times can we say that tonight, Luke? I've never seen that before.
I don't know if I've ever seen this many travels in a game before. I mean, it's
I can't either.
On both sides. I mean, it's been about 60% Musketeers, 40% RedHawks, but
it's not all one team. That's the thing, is it's not all one team. This is like fairly even.
RedHawks get the press break and get it across the timeline, leading by 3. Pass finds Hoon. She had to pry that one away from Scarlett, who was hungry for a loose ball. 9 left to shoot. Edwards on the near side, steps back, puts up a contested 3. It's off the heels, spinning in the air. The rebound picked up by Scarlett down on the floor. Under 3 to play. Xavier trailing by 3. Scarlett down the left lane. Kicks out to the corner. 3 put up, and it falls short from Purvis. Offensive rebound, and heading down low. Blackford got fouled. It's swatted away, so the shot won't go. But 2 free throws coming up here for Neela Blackford. And
that was an aggressive take, too, for Blackford, considering she has 4 fouls.
So Blackford draws the 4th team foul on the RedHawks, so Xavier will be in the bonus shooting the rest of the way. That was the first foul on Jaden Scott for the RedHawks. Miami leads 48-45 with 2:43 to go in the 4th. Blackford's first free throw drops home. She's been good from the stripe. She's now 4 for 5. Xavier as a team 12 for 17. Slightly better than their season mark at 70.6% from the line tonight. Blackford's second free throw. It's off the front of the rim, short. Rebound on the floor, and Blackford gets her own rebound. But now it's pried away by the RedHawks and Corey Lard. Got to be careful there with 4 fouls, but she did it cleanly.
That was a very gutsy play to try to get that ball free for Blackford. Both of them had 4 fouls, too.
But no whistles. We play on as Hoon feeds Lard on the near side, bounced into the post for Richeson, gets free down the baseline, gets the shot up and one.
What a play, Katie Richeson.
Up and under for Katie Richeson. That's in for the double-double for the junior and a Zionsville. And she'll get a chance to tack on another at the free throw line with Miami up 4 now with 2:20 to go in the 4th.
She is really setting the tone in this 4th quarter that she is not afraid with 4 fouls to just go in there and bully that interior for Xavier.
10 points, 11 rebounds for Katie Richardson. Her free throw rolls around the rim and falls no good. So it's still a 4-point game here. The rebound picked up by Lopez for the Musketeers. And Billy Chambers wants a timeout as they carry it across the timeline. And so with 2:12 to go and 24 left on the shot clock, the Musketeers will talk this one over. Xavier, by the way, trying to avoid their third straight loss to a MAC team. Xavier is 0-5 this season. They are yet to play a Power 6 opponent. Team that's projected to finish at the bottom of the Big East, as it's a really tough conference at the women's level. That's where former Miami head coach Megan Duffy is with the Marquette Golden Eagles. Of course, UConn is probably one of the best programs in all of college sports and the women's basketball ranks.
And there's Creighton as well.
Yeah,
just went to
a
a
very,
Sweet 16.
very deep conference overall. It's going to be likely tough sledding, but that's just the nature of being under a first-year head coach for Xavier. It's a tough conference to build in.
In a tough conference, exactly.
Musketeers are trying to pull this one out late on the road. Down by 4. Off the inbound, Purvis drives baseline. Finds Scarlett open in the corner for 3, and she connects. Michaela Scarlett up to 22 points to lead all scorers, and Miami's lead down to 1 here with 1:53 to play. RedHawks break the press and get it across the timeline.
Scarlett has been very quiet for the past few minutes, so it's no surprise that Xavier is trying to find a way to get her involved.
Hoon left of the key. Over for Lard, bounces in for Richardson, just inside the left elbow, back out for Lard. Couldn't fire off the 3, instead slashes into the paint, works her way in, and she traveled. And the RedHawks give it away with 1:36 to go in the fourth. Xavier goes from down 4 to down 1 with the ball. A big stop for Billy Chambers' group on the defensive end of the floor. And now Purvis will carry it across half court. 2 timeouts left for the Musketeers. They're not going to use one here. It's bounced to the left elbow for Scarlett. She'll just turn around and fire off a long 2. That's off the mark. Offensive rebound, though, by Lopez on the strong side. She goes back up for Purvis, and the Musketeers reset. 15 on the shot clock, minute 16 on the game clock. Purvis down the left lane, accelerates, gets to the rack, puts up the shot short. Rebound tipped in the air. It finds Lopez once again. We get a stoppage as... What is going on here? Yeah. Somebody came off one of the Miami assistant coaches came off and was screaming off the Miami bench. There was a Xavier player down low. That was Scarlett that fell down and was a little slow to get up, but it looked like she got to her feet. Maybe that whistle was due to injury. Not sure, but regardless.
That was a bizarre whistle for sure, yeah.
It also might have been the shot clock because it's now put it back up to 20. And so Xavier had the offensive rebound, so they'll have possession here. And it's Scarlett down the left lane. It's pulled away, ball loose on the floor, and did they get the timeout off? What's the call? Jump ball.
Yeah, possession arrow Miami.
So that's big. Xavier had 2 timeouts. Billy Chambers was trying desperately to call a timeout on her bench, and she's now pleading her case with the official that she got it off. And
I could see she's really trying to contain herself here.
Yeah, there was certainly a case that she did.
For sure.
The RedHawks will take back over here, leading by 1. Under a minute to play. Shot and game clock separated by 30 seconds. RedHawks need to get this across the timeline, and they do over to the far side. Edwards trying to bounce it free, and Glenn Box calls a timeout. Miami still with 2 left, now down to 1 following the call as RedHawks were trapped a little bit. Edwards, though, did well to get it through right as that timeout was called, so RedHawks probably had that crisis averted, but Glenn Box just wanted to be safe with the lead, and Miami will have 18 left to work with on the shot clock here with 48.3 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. It's 50-49, the RedHawks in front.
This is some good basketball. I'm enjoying this.
So Miami will have the ball coming out of the timeout. Miami with 22 turnovers, Xavier with 20. Cover your ears, coaches.
And how many of those were travels?
Yeah, a lot of them were.
Goodness gracious.
Didn't think it was going to be pretty tonight, though. A local rivalry game, and just got to grit them out sometimes.
Yeah. A lot of connections here.
RedHawks have it here coming out of the timeout. Inbounding in front of their bench on the far side. The connection comes from Hoon over to Lard. Lard works her way in, and now back outside with 11 to shoot, and Lard gets called for the offensive foul, and the Miami bench erupts, but she put the forearm up into the upper body area there, and that's going to be her 5th. That's the 5th team foul for the RedHawks as Xavier's into the bonus with 41.1 seconds to go.
They will call it. I mean, I said this earlier. It stinks, but they're going to call it every time when you extend your forearm into another girl's chest. It's just the way it works.
Timeout called by Xavier. They've got one left. Musketeers trail by 1, 50-49, with 41.1 seconds to go. And so now Corey Lard has fouled out of the game for Miami with 5.
I think it's pretty incredible that Xavier's still only down 1, considering they've shot 2 for 13 from the field in this fourth quarter here. I mean, really just gritty game plan that Coach Billy Chambers has had for them in coming out of the fourth quarter here, and really, for the most part, has stymied, and they've been able to stymie rather the RedHawks offensively.
Xavier's 1 for their last 7 from the field. But they've limited Miami to taking just 8 shots here in the fourth quarter, and they've only made 4 of them. They've forced a lot of turnovers, and a lot of have really struggled. Yeah, a lot of travels.
A lot of travels, yeah.
So Xavier's got the arrow. They've got 1 timeout left. They'll get a full 30 on the shot clock following the turnover. And remember, in the women's game, you can advance the ball, so they'll have it in the front court. They won't have to bring it up the floor. So for the Musketeers, it'll be Purvis inbounding from right in front of her own bench on the offensive end of the floor. 50-49, Miami leads with 41.1 seconds remaining. The inbound comes to Garcia Raj up top. Right back for Purvis. Immediately bounce down low for Scarlett. Scarlett working on Scott. Spins down low. She's called for the offensive foul. The Xavier bench is in disbelief. Scarlett.
She did the exact same thing Lard did earlier. I think they're going to call it both ways.
Scarlett is going to be called for her 3rd foul, but that's huge as the RedHawks kind of get bailed out as they get the ball back here up 1 with 34.4 seconds to go. Miami had inbounded the ball, but right as the inbound was leaving the hands of Hennessy Lou Brown, Glenn Box called timeout. And so the RedHawks will have a chat about it. 34.4 seconds remaining, so the shot clock still is in effect. Miami cannot hold for the foul.
Well, they can get pretty darn close to 0.
They can get it close. Obviously, Xavier's going to be pressing here. And the fortunate thing, this is a decent position, all things considered, if you're Xavier, considering that not only have you forced a lot of turnovers, but you've had a very effective press, and this is a very good time to use it. But I'm sure that Miami huddle right now is directed right at their press break and getting this across at least half court before potentially setting up that half court offense. Xavier's going to be swarming to the ball here. Xavier's got 1 timeout left. Miami does not have any. That was Glenn Box's last. Musketeers have 4 fouls, so they cannot foul the RedHawks without giving them shots. Miami's got 5 fouls as a team, so Xavier's in the bonus as well.
For a team that runs the press almost every possession, I'm incredibly impressed that Xavier has been called for 10 total fouls this entire game, and 4 of them are coming off Nyla Blackford.
A decent amount of those for Blackford have come on the offensive end as well.
Yeah, they've been unforced errors against Richardson.
Yeah, the press has been physical, but it's been very clean for the Musketeers. Miami is going to advance the ball, so they'll get it across half court, and they don't actually have to worry about the press. They'll just have to worry about the pressure here in the front court. Inbound comes to Lou Brown. Scarlett's right in her face, trying to swat the ball away as Lou Brown moves left and right. Lou Brown backs out now to the logo with 25 seconds to go. Lou Brown gets it tipped away, but she gets back to the front court, still with possession. Lou Brown comes off a hard screen set by Richardson, goes to the far side, stops short of the paint with 13 to shoot.
Pass it.
Lou Brown trying to release the ball, and a foul is called for Xavier on Purvis. And that's another
killer
bailout type of foul there for the Musketeers, who were so good at swarming to the ball on that possession, but Lou Brown did well to not cough it up, and she'll shoot 2 here with 14.4 seconds to go. Got to keep an eye on Scarlett here. Even if she makes both these free throws, Lou Brown can only put the RedHawks up by as many as 3, which would still be a 1-possession game, and Michaela Scarlett has been electric from 3 in the second half. She's 5 for 12 on the game. Lou Brown's first free throw rolls over the front of the rim and in. And, of course, it is crucial as well to hit both your free throws, because if you don't, you could potentially end up on the losing side
of a game-winning shot.
Of a
right
shot,
there.
yep.
Yeah.
Lou Brown takes a breath. The Toronto native puts up the two-handed shot. She's got it.
Pure.
Timeout called by the Musketeers.
I got to give Coach Box credit, too. He put the ball in the hands of somebody who hasn't really gotten a whole lot of playing time today. I mean, she's been on the court for less than 10 minutes, and he still said, you know what, go get us a basket. I mean, she was dribbling around a lot, but she ended up getting the foul, and she ended up getting you two crucial free throws. So I'll give Glenn Box a lot of credit there for really trusting his players right there.
Hennessy Lou Brown in her first 3 games at the RedHawks, 32 minutes, 39 minutes, 25 minutes. Today she's got 10, but she comes through for the RedHawks in the biggest moment of the game so far. Miami leads by 3 with 14.4 seconds to go after a pair of hit free throws by Lou Brown. That was Billy Chambers' last time out, so the Musketeers now are out of them. They'll inbound from the offensive end of the floor with Purvis right in front of us, trailing by 3, 52-49 with 14.4 seconds to go. Purvis finds Scarlett, hands back to Purvis, straight away over for Scarlett in the corner. She's guarded by Scott.
They want Scarlett.
Pass goes to the far side. 3 put up by Woods. She hit it. Woods ties the game for the Musketeers from NBA range. No timeouts for the RedHawks. 3 seconds to go. Richardson just holding on to it, not wanting to give up a silly turnover, and we are headed to overtime as the clock hits zeros.
Free basketball. That's what we always love to have.
What a shot by Kasia Woods from NBA range, way beyond the arc there.
Just a desperation heave almost on that.
You could obviously tell they were going to Scarlett. That was what the Musketeers were trying to get to the whole way.
Yeah.
But Scott did really well to close off Scarlett in the corner, and then Scarlett was forced to just whip it up top to Woods, who knew the time was running down. I think she probably thought she had less time than she did, as there were still about 7 seconds left when she fired that shot. Xavier could have maybe looked for a better look, but hey, it doesn't matter. Game's time. We're going to overtime.
And credit to Xavier on that, too. They assembled their press incredibly quickly off of that. That was the only reason that the RedHawks were just completely unable to even get a shot off. And Richardson just had to hold the ball off until the buzzer sounded. Because, yeah, that press, I don't know. If I were one of those girls, I would have been celebrating my butt off after that 3. But, I mean, they were incredibly disciplined and got to their spots incredibly quickly.
And to compound a bit of a backbreaker from Miami. Remember, they were in all this foul trouble. That's going to carry over into the overtime. The fouls don't reset, so Corey Lard is done for the game. Katie Richardson's got 4 fouls. If you're a Red Hawk fan, you can knock on wood that she's done very well to not pick up that 5th over these last few minutes.
She's been very careful.
Yeah, she's certainly stuck her nose in there, but has done it selectively.
Yeah.
Xavier will have the possession arrow here to begin the overtime period. Fouls carry over, so each team still in the bonus. 5 minutes on the clock. Miami's got 3 players still permitted to be in the game with 3 or more fouls. Herho, Hoon, and Richardson. For Xavier, Scarlett picked up her 3rd late in regulation. Blackford's got 4. Everybody else, no problems.
Yeah.
Scarlett with 22 points to lead all scorers for the Musketeers. 20 of those coming in the second half.
That could really come to bite them later. That the lack of fouls on Xavier, especially for their key players, and not only just the foul out for Lard, but also Richardson having 4, and then having Herho and Hoon to have 3 apiece.
Miami did not shoot free throws in the first half. Their first attempt did not come until Katie Richardson got there in the 3rd quarter. RedHawks really were the more physical team in the first half, but Xavier's done a good job to not only step up and answer in the second half, but also to not foul and continue to do so as the physicality of this game is intensified. It's a tip-off to begin overtime here from Millett Hall, 52-52 with 5 minutes on the clock. To begin the extra period, it's put up in the air, and the tip-off is won by Blackford for the Musketeers, and we are underway here in overtime. Immediately wide open, Woods for 3. It's off the front iron, and a rebound tapped around, and a foul called on the RedHawks.
You can see Richardson, I can see her very clearly emphasizing to her teammates, box out. There was 3 girls who were just kind of in the area, but just kind of staring at the ball.
Scarlett got the rebound, and so she'll shoot two. Maddie Hoon got the foul. That's her fourth for the RedHawks. 8 seconds into this overtime period. First free throw up by Scarlett's too strong.
Man.
Musketeers back down below 70%, down to 63% on the game from the stripe. Scarlett spins the ball, right-handed shot put up, and it's too strong again.
Wow.
Rebound by by Scott for the RedHawks.
I mean, Xavier has this game easily if they just hit their free throws.
Lou Brown, lead pass for Edwards, carries it across the timeline on the right wing. Xavier swarming the ball. 2 players there. They draw the jump. The RedHawks have the possession arrow after the lost tip, so Miami fortunate to keep hold of this, but Xavier with a clear plan.
Incredibly aggressive there right away, just absolutely on top of Miami there.
So it is going to be Miami basketball. There's mixed signals right now on the floor with one of the possession arrows saying RedHawks, one saying Musketeers. It is RedHawk ball. They put it back in play now. This is Hoon on the far side. Post entry feed for Scott. Bullies into the paint. She's surrounded, and she stepped on the baseline.
Oh,
and that's going to be a turnover.
Brutal. That's just brutal right there. I mean, that would have been a massive momentum swinger here if you get a bucket after the 2 missed free throws, but instead you're giving Xavier another opportunity to go up.
4:23 to go in overtime. 52-52 our score. Scarlett drives in, fakes from the elbow. Now feeds Blackford down low, scoops it away from the defender, throws it up. It rolls off the heel, and no good. Rebound by the RedHawks, and it's Edwards for Lou Brown. Back for Edwards across the timeline on the right wing. Lead pass for Scott, left alone under the basket. She lays it in with the right hand.
Wide open, almost cherry picking it right there.
Scott got lost. She's got 16 points now in the game. That leads all RedHawks scorers, second in the game, only to Scarlett for Xavier. 54-52 Miami, minute and 8 seconds gone by in the overtime. Near side 3 put up, and it's good for Kezia Woods. Kezia Woods, the junior, puts Xavier in front with the triple, and they have fallen when they've mattered for the Musketeers. Woods with her second big tray.
Wide open.
Now open for 3 from the left side, and that had too much on it. And the rebound is pulled away by Scarlett for the Musketeers.
That's a shot you got to have right there. Left wide open on the left key. Just got to, left stripe rather, you got to have that.
Scarlett left to the key, fakes, heads down the right side, now backs out. Pushed over to the far wing. Purvis looking for an option, slings it down low. Blackford wide open lane to the basket, lays it in with the left hand.
Miami's looking tired right now. They look like they just have no energy. I don't know if there's a timeout that would necessarily fix that, but my gosh, they just look gassed right now.
2:55 to go in overtime. Xavier 57, Miami 54. Lou Brown carrying from the logo, dribbling shoulder high with the right hand. Trying to stave off Purvis, cuts to the left. Now slings for Hoon on the near wing. 11 to shoot left for the RedHawks. Hoon jabs, now pushes it over for Edwards on the far side. Edwards lead pass ahead for Scott. Turnaround floater is no good on the fade. And the rebound picked up by Blackford for Xavier.
Xavier gets this basket. I mean, you're likely gonna start seeing fouling within the next minute. I mean,
an offensive foul called as Scarlett tried to circle around down the right lane.
How do I rewind those words right there?
And man, when Xavier's been down and they've needed a clutch 3, they've had it. But they've had a couple of chances to really step on the gas pedal, and some just tough turnovers for the Musketeers have let Miami hang around a couple of times. That's going to continue as it stays a one-possession game. Past the halfway mark of the overtime, Miami only with 1 bucket so far, and they trail Xavier 57-54. Edwards in for Lou Brown in the inbound. Light pressure being applied right at the half-court stripe, but Lou Brown gets it ahead, and Shredder now has it on the right wing. Shredder looking. She'll just hand off for Hoon on the right side.
She wanted to get that to Lou Brown really badly there.
Hoon crossing back and forth, calls for a screen from Richardson. Now she'll make her way inside. Bullet pass to Richardson. She throws it up. It's no good, but she gets the blocking foul. Richardson with her hands on her chest, maybe a little nervous there that she might have picked up the charge. But
I wouldn't blame her. That was a 50-50 call if you ask me. It was pretty borderline on that.
So Richardson will head to the free throw line. She's 2 for 6 from the stripe today, but the RedHawks really need these ones. 2:04 to go in the overtime, and Miami trails by 3. Richardson's been playing with 4 fouls for
seemingly a while
a long
now.
time.
Yeah.
First free throw put up by Richardson, and it clatters no good.
she is 2 for 7 in free throws today. I mean, that, oh my gosh, that's brutal right there. She's getting to the line consistently. The only person really getting to the line, just not hitting her shots consistently at all.
Second one is made to cut it to a 2-point game. 2 minutes to go in overtime. Xavier leads Miami 57-55. It's Lopez up top with Garcia Raj. And now over for Purvis. Around to the top of the key, Garcia Raj over for Lopez, hoists up a three, and it's off target. Rebound in the corner with their toes next to the line by Hoon. RedHawks get it back, and now they can run the floor.
2v2 here.
Lou Brown up ahead, and now she'll have to slow down as the Musketeers get numbers back.
Purvis really got up there very quickly. I thought they would have really pushed that up, but they decided not to, with Purvis being the third man and giving them an advantage.
Treader down low gets fouled. She nearly had a lucky and one on a pretty low percentage shot, but good job by Treader to get fouled. The foul is on Lopez. That's her second, and Miami down by 2. Amber Treader will shoot 2 with 1:28 to go in the overtime.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but it looked like they had, like she was shooting that from behind the backboard there, and and it somehow clattered around the rim on that.
It hit off the inside of the rim. It was close, but Treader will take the shots. First one is up, and it's no good off the back of the rim. Miami now 5 for 11. It's been a tough night from the stripe for the RedHawks.
Tough night for both teams from the stripe. I mean, both teams shooting 60% for Xavier, 45% for the RedHawks here.
Both teams around the mid-60s in terms of percentage on the season. Second free throw is put through by Treader. That makes it a 1-point game, 57-56, with 1:26 now remaining in overtime. Purvis carries ahead for Xavier. Hands off, left of the key for Scarlett. Straight away, Scarlett off the screen, puts up a three. It's too strong. Rebound secured by the RedHawks. And Edwards gets fouled. Edwards was being physical down low, and with a pressing player right in her grill, Taylor Purvis is going to pick up the third foul, and not one that I think Billy Chambers is going to be super pleased with, as this will allow the RedHawks to walk the floor, and Lucretia Edwards can potentially put the RedHawks in front. Purvis gets her third. 1:14 to go in overtime. Miami down 1. Each team with a timeout. Xavier with the arrow. And Millett Hall falls silent as the first free throw put off the back of the rim by Edwards.
These free throws are killing us. Goodness gracious.
That's her first attempt from the stripe.
Yeah.
Miami 6 for 13 on the game. You at least need this one to try and tie it up at 57. Edwards second. Too much. Into the corner. Nearly losing control and stepping on the sideline. Purvis is going to give it up. It was a rebound that got raced after by 3 players, and Miami's going to get a fortunate break that Purvis caught that in space, but her momentum carried her out of bounds.
It almost
officials
feels like
will discuss, and it'll be a reset of the shot clock. 30 fresh seconds for Miami, and they'll have it in the front court down by 1.
This is, I mean, just another moment. It feels like Xavier's almost begging them to win this game at this point. I mean, just another opportunity off of a missed free throw.
Lou Brown carrying to the right side for the RedHawks. Bounces down into the low block. Richardson back up for Lou Brown. Through the middle of the paint. Tried the MAC logo jumper. Now she pulls it back down. It's on the floor. It's a jump ball and the tie-up. And a possession arrow in favor of Xavier. And Glenn Box with his hands on his head.
He's in disbelief.
That's an unfortunate one for the RedHawks. Even 1 minute to go. No need to foul here for Miami. Only down 1. Xavier leads it 57-56. Purvis carrying it the length of the floor for the Musketeers. Now over for Garcia Raj. Handoff for Lopez on the left wing up top. Woods takes a three. It's off the target to the right. Rebound picked up on the offensive side, though, for the Musketeers by Scarlett. And a timeout called by Billy Chambers and the Musketeers. Shot and game clock separated by 27 seconds, and Xavier will talk this one over. Offensive rebound number 18 there for the Musketeers. They've now got as many offensive boards as they do defensive. And that's been an area where Xavier's been sneaky good, especially in the back half of this game. 45 seconds even left on the clock, and Xavier leads it 57-56. Musketeers with 18 seconds to work with on the shot clock coming out of the timeout. That's their first and only timeout of the overtime period.
Goodness gracious, I can't even believe that Miami is still in this game, but Xavier just will not hit their free throws, and well, quite frankly, Miami won't either, so it's anybody's ball game at this point.
Defense has been pretty good for Miami, but it's go time for this group in their own backcourt.
This is This is a must-have right here. There's plenty of quote-unquote must-haves. You don't need the quotes on this one. This is a must-have.
So the RedHawks down 1. After that tie-up, they did get the arrow back, so they could try to get after the ball here. Miami's got 2 players on the floor with 4 fouls, Maddie Hoon and Katie Richardson. For Xavier, Blackford is fouled out of the game. And 2 other players on the floor with 3 for the Musketeers, but with this little amount of time left, that likely won't come into play for Purvis and Scarlett. They're probably the 2 most dynamic players on the floor for the Musketeers, but that would likely only come into play if this game were to go to a second overtime. All right, here we go. Out of the timeout, Musketeers have it on the offensive side. 45 seconds to go. In the extra period, it's Xavier 57, Miami 56. 18 seconds left on the shot clock following the offensive board for the Musketeers. The timeout by Billy Chambers. She's got none left. RedHawks still have their overtime timeout if they want to use it. Inbounder is Michaela Scarlett for the Musketeers. Goes in for Purvis straight away. Purvis hands off for Lopez, just left of the key. Now back over for Purvis on the left wing. 10 to shoot for Purvis. Scarlett trying to cut. Purvis can't find her. 6 left on the shot clock. Purvis with Scott in her face. Gets around a screen on the right side. Goes
defense.
Up top. 3 from Woods is off the mark. It's into the corner. Scarlett tosses it over her head to save it, but it's picked up by Edwards for the RedHawks, and they'll carry it up the floor. Shot clock is off. 17 seconds remaining for Miami. They'll try to get it up the floor. Glenn Box won't call the timeout. Scott up ahead with 12 seconds to go. Drives baseline. Scott goes up and under. It's off target. Offensive board. Put back by Richardson. Or rather, that Shredder. It's good.
We have an injury here.
An injury down low for Xavier. Shredder on the putback with 6 seconds to go, and Miami takes the lead.
Who is that?
It's an ankle.
Can't tell who that is.
Holding. It looks like that's Michaela Scarlett from the Musketeers.
That's huge if that's Scarlett. Oh, goodness. Yeah, the only other player with double-digit points for Xavier is out. So losing Scarlett in this spot would be absolutely massive. I mean, yeah, the next leading scorer without fouling out has 8 points. you know this ball's going to Scarlett. Down 1 here.
6.3 seconds to go, and the training staff out to 10 to Scarlett's, who's favoring her left ankle. So Miami's taking the lead 58-57.
You gotta really hope she's okay. She's the best player on this on the Xavier squad here.
So now for Xavier, with Scarlett being helped to her feet, not putting any weight on that left leg.
Oh yeah, she really can't put any weight on that. That's
so
not
now
good.
For the Musketeers, you're looking at probably either Kasia Woods or Taylor Purvis. Woods has not been a huge factor throughout the game, but has hit 2 really clutch shots for you. The first one to send it to overtime with the late 3, and then she hit a big 3 early on in overtime to kind of set the tone, but the Musketeers unable to pull away.
Yeah.
All right.
8 of Woods' 10 shots are 3, so I certainly could see that being a possibility of her getting the ball.
No timeouts for the Musketeers. 58-57, Miami in front. 6.3 seconds to go, and Xavier will inbound from their own defensive baseline here in overtime.
Interesting. They're finally going to start pressing here.
Miami's going to press forward. It's Purvis down the right side with 3 seconds to go. Purvis carrying to the left. Over into the corner. 3 put up at the buzzer by Garcia Raj.
Oh,
it's off target.
No good.
And the RedHawks survive.
What a game. That is a gritty Musketeer squad that Miami just beat right there. Wow.
Didn't look like Garcia Raj was going to have the time, but
No.
she got it off
Barely.
to her credit. And that nearly dropped, but for Miami, it's the first win under new head coach Glenn Box, and it comes with some local flair to add to it. The RedHawks beat the Xavier Musketeers in overtime by a final score of 58-57.
What a great game. And we got some extra basketball. That's always fun, Luke.
That's 5 free minutes of basketball.
That's right.
Had its fair share of twists and turns.
Oh my gosh.
So much that had to be navigated in this game for Miami. They were good defensively in the first half. Second straight game here at home. They've come out a little bit sluggish out of the halftime break. But they weathered the storm.
Yeah.
They had the late lead that Xavier cashed in on with the 3. They got in some pretty insane foul trouble.
Yeah.
The offensive glass was a severe issue for this RedHawks team. but somehow they just found a way around all of it. They hung around in the overtime after a couple of early buckets and some tough sledding through the first few minutes. And the RedHawks beat Xavier by a point, 58-57. For the Musketeers, the struggles continue. They're 0-6. They dropped their third straight game to a MAC school.
Yeah.
Kent State, Bowling Green, and Miami back-to-back have beaten these Musketeers. And for Billy Chambers, you got to wonder at this point just what it's going to take. Their team comes up with a very gritty effort on the road, but unfortunately,
not quite enough.
Xavier drops it by a point here from Millett Hall. Well, the Miami women will look to keep this going. It's not going to get any easier for the RedHawks as they will hit the road against Michigan State. They'll take on the Spartans coming up this Sunday at a 2 p.m. start.
That's a good team, too. They're projected to be in the tournament. They are 5-1 currently.
Our next women's basketball broadcast comes your way when the team returns home December 9th. That's Saturday, a week from this Saturday, coming up here from Millett, a 1 p.m. tip as part of a RedHawk Radio doubleheader with the hockey team. We'll take on Minnesota Duluth later that day. Miami will take on another close rival in the Flyers from up north at the University of Dayton. We're back on the air tomorrow for men's basketball as the RedHawk men take on the Spalding Golden Eagles. Coverage begins at 6:30 here from Millett Hall, and we will have the tip for you coming up at 7 tomorrow. And also make sure to tune in to the MAC Championship game coming up this Saturday live from Ford Field as the Miami football team looks to get some revenge on those Toledo Rockets. 11:30 a.m. pregame and 12 p.m. kickoff from Ford Field coming up this Saturday. Well, Sean, that was fun, wasn't it?
It was, and actually good news for Xavier fans. It looked like Michaela Scarlett was walking off under her own power. She wears 2 ankle braces, so I don't think it was very good that she hurt her ankle, but it looked like I said, she was working off on her own power, and that's huge for Xavier in the future.
So for the Musketeers, they will be in the Brilliant January Classic coming up in Tempe as they'll take on the Temple Owls and the Arizona State Sun Devils this weekend as they will hit the road and head to the West Coast to try to pick up their first couple of wins. That is a very nice area this time of year over in the Tempe, Phoenix area.
Yeah.
And the Musketeers will look to enjoy that weather and see if they can take that to the hardwood, try to pick up their first win. But for the Miami RedHawks, it's the first win under new head coach Glenn Box. And that will wrap up our coverage here tonight from Millett Hall. RedHawks victors in overtime over the Xavier Musketeers. Final score, Miami 58 and Xavier 57. We're back for Miami men's basketball tomorrow against Spalding, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip right here on RedHawk Radio. We hope you'll tune in then. So until then, for Sean Wiesemann, the rest of our great RedHawk Radio crew, Luke West Poley saying so long from Millett Hall, where Miami beats Xavier in overtime by 1. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Miami women's basketball on RedHawk Radio. We'll see you next time.